Are we live? Is it Tuesday already? Oh my goodness, is it a new year? What's up, guys? We got a lot to talk about today. Revenge of the Sith Clone Wars animation. This thing is pretty damn cool, but there's some other crazy news going on. Star Wars Outlaws might have been delayed until the end of this year. And Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, the director of the Rey movie, has said some things that have angered a lot of fans. We got a lot to get into today, and we got just a little bit of time to do it all. So let's dive right in. What's up, guys? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars. Yes, Sharmeen has angered a lot of fans, but we got some positive stuff to talk about today. We got some negative stuff to talk about today, and we're going to talk about all of it. And we're going to try to keep it civil in the chat, please. But smash a like on this video, and let's dive into all of this. How we doing today, chat? Let me open up the chat so I can see. Austin, what's up? Jay, how we doing? Tony, how we doing? All right, let me see what's going on here. Tony first in today says, ooh, this is going to be fun. Star Wars fans are so starved for good shows that they are going wild after a fan made a new video. That's true. That is true. This video is quite cool, though, so I'm very excited to watch it. I hope we don't get copy struck or anything shut down or whatever it is, because I want to watch it with volume. It's the coolest thing when it's with volume because it has the original songs of the actual fight in Revenge of the Sith, so it's really, really cool. Hale, what's up? Says, glad I could make it. Glad you're here. All right, let's without further ado, should we just dive into this? Oh, thanks, Jay. I appreciate that. Yes, we did hit 5,000 subscribers on Sunday, right before the New Year's start. And by the way, Happy New Year to all of you guys. 2024 is going to be a good year. I can tell already. But 2023 ended on a bang as we got up 1,000 subscribers in less than like a week, and we got to 5,000 subscribers before the end of the year. It was absolutely insane. I can't wrap my head around it. It was insane. We went from 4,000 to 5,000 in 8 days, less than 8 days. It was like 7.5 days, and it was something, and it was definitely something. It was crazy. Star Wars Kata, what's up? Says hi. Ian says, hi Mike, Happy New Year. And 5K City. Yeah, 5K is quite wild. We're on our way to 6K, of course, and I expect great things from this year. I really do. So without further ado, let's just dive right into this thing. Let's watch this. This thing is quite cool. If you haven't, give me a 1 into the chat if you have seen this Clone Wars animated Revenge of the Sith Anakin vs. Obi-Wan thing. Have you seen this? Give me a 1 into the chat if you have. What's really cool about this video is it starts with an unfinished scene from the Clone Wars that was leaked out maybe a few years ago, I'm not too sure, with Obi-Wan and Anakin around a fire. And this scene was actually taken out, or at least not finished. It was only prevised for season 7 of the Clone Wars, and it was deemed unnecessary to the story, and they just went on without it. You guys watched it? All right, cool. So we're going to watch it again for most of you that have seen it. But it's really cool that it opens with that scene. This animator, Hello There Animations, if you haven't already, go subscribe to him. He fully animated that deleted scene, which is pretty cool. Catherine, what's up? How we doing? Yeah. Ian says, haven't seen it, but... Wait, what? How does that say? Haven't seen it, but... Oh, people seem to be hyped about it. Yes, it's got to be very, very cool. Anthony says, Star Wars... Oh, so he says, a guy who loves Star Wars. Happy New Year, man. 2 things. Imagine the Battle of the Heroes / Siege of Mandalore resolve... Siege of Mandalore in Tales of the Jedi resolve. Final edit released into theaters and Disney+. That would be insane. Lobo Lopez, what's up? Lobo says, is it true that KK is going out of Disney this year? I mean, isn't that true every year, Lobo? Isn't that true every year? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We do have some pretty bad news about the Star Wars front later on in the stream, but we're going to start with the good news and start with the good, fun content here. Hopefully we don't get copy struck. I'm probably going to pause it here and there just so we don't get copy struck, and we'll try our best to do this. Should we do volume? Volume, yes or no? Yes or no volume? You tell me. Actually, we got to kind of have to do volume. We're going to do volume. We're risking it. We're risking it today. We're feeling a little bit risky in 2024. Let's do it. All right. So this is a black screen. Hello there, production. All Alright, we're gonna skip ahead. The Battle of Hero. So this is the scene from the Clone Wars that was unfinished.
You can't take responsibility for Ahsoka's decision, Anakin.
How would you feel if I turned into a major disappointment?
It's not the same.
It's precisely the same. You took me under your wing and practically raised me.
I'm your Padawan, just like Ahsoka was mine. How well would you sleep knowing I failed you?
Not very well, I imagine. Luckily, that isn't true. And never will be.
So it's going to go into the Revenge of the Sith fight, but before we even get to that, this scene is very important. There's a reason why this was almost in that 7th season of Clone Wars, because it explains so much. Anakin can't sleep around this fire because of Ahsoka. Ahsoka left the Order, and he's still feeling the guilt of that because he failed as a master to keep his apprentice with the Jedi Order. And it's even more foreshadowing Obi-Wan in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, or even in the original trilogy, because Obi-Wan's sitting there and saying, I can't imagine what that must feel like. And thank God I don't have to. And as he goes to sleep, because Anakin's like, I can't sleep because Ahsoka left and I failed her. And Obi-Wan's like, I don't have to deal with that. Fast forward to the Kenobi show, when of course Anakin falls to the dark side. He can't sleep. He's having nightmares and all this other stuff. So it was a very cool tie-in. And let's just take a second. This is a fan, a Star Wars fan, editing in the Clone Wars style. Now, of course, it is all copyrighted stuff, so he's not making any money off of this, but he spent so much time, because this looks incredible. Literally looks better than Clone Wars Season 7, honestly, to me. But it looks so perfect. And it's a fan doing it from most likely their house. Like, this is insane. But this scene was extremely important, and I'm very glad that now, at least in some sort of way, it is finished. It's not finished by Lucasfilm themselves. It's technically not really a canon scene, but it does exist now. And that's a very important scene. It's foreshadowing what happens with Obi-Wan and Anakin, but it's also important because Anakin's really feeling the guilt of Ahsoka leaving the Order. And it goes straight from this to Mustafar. Hang on. One last thing. Watch their faces. Watch the emotion that's shown through just the animation. I posted something on. I posted a short about this video, and I said, which one is better? Which one do you like more, the animated version or the live action version? Now, the live action version, of course, came out in 2005. It's way more iconic. It is the original version. But some people were saying you can't really tell the emotion from the animation. Watch the emotion. Just watch the emotion on their faces. You can tell so clearly what they're going through.
Anakin, my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy!
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy!
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must.
You will try.
All right, before we get copy struck or taken down or whatever, it's perfect. It's the exact same scene. It's the exact same audio and lines that are being delivered in Revenge of the Sith, animated in the Clone Wars style, and you get to see the lightsaber duel in more of the Clone Wars style, more of the swinging of the lightsaber, more of the bend of the lightsaber. You can tell through the animation of this. But what's really, really cool about it is it's Clone Wars is more exaggerated with almost every aspect of the show, and being able to jump higher, land crazy things, do all this stuff. It's incredible. And as Jay Skywalker says, that's a beautiful score. It's the same score from the movie, of course, and it fits so perfectly. I mean, not only is this the best lightsaber duel in all of Star Wars, animated or live action, but it is still the best score of anything. It's like Duel of Fates on steroids, pretty much. All right, so I just decided we're not going to watch all 15 minutes of this because I know for a fact that we are definitely going to get copy struck. So I'm going to fast forward to specific parts that I like. Of course, this one in this room where everybody makes fun of them sort of just swinging their lightsabers and not hitting each other in the movie. This is also in animation, and I absolutely love it.
It doesn't have to end like this, Anakin.
The Empire will thrive under my rule, but you won't be alive to see it.
It's so damn cool. Fearless, what's up? That. Everybody hates that from the original movie and even this one. I love it. I absolutely love it. I can't get enough of this. This is so damn cool. And every time I watch it, I'm like, a fan from their own probably home or basement created this. Now, of course, it's obviously from the movie. It's an exact replica, but somebody was able to animate this as well as it is. Like, it's so damn good from their own home. We've seen this before with Star Wars content when The Mandalorian Season 2 dropped and somebody deepfaked Luke Skywalker better than how Lucasfilm did. And Lucasfilm spent millions upon millions of dollars on it, and some YouTuber did it at home. And this YouTuber, Shamook, actually got a job with Lucasfilm because of how good he actually did. But YouTubers or Star Wars fans can do something very special. They all have their own unique set of skills. I definitely can't do any of this. I can't animate. I can't do any of that stuff. But it is extremely cool to see that Star Wars fans, regular people who are just sitting at home, can create this. And you can also see how Anakin's eyes go from blue to red as the course of this fight goes on. Let's fast forward to when they're fighting on the lava here. Yeah.
I have failed you, Anakin.
True
I
that.
have failed you.
I should have known the Jedi were plotting to take over.
His eyes are still blue.
Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine is evil.
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Well, then you are lost.
So cool.
This is the end for you, my master.
It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground.
You underestimate my power.
Don't try it.
Don't try it. His eyes are red there. Damn, that's so cool. It only just solidifies that this movie is the best Star Wars movie, in my personal opinion. But, I mean, do you guys think Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars movie? Because even in animation, and I think if you animated any of the other lightsaber duels in Star Wars, it wouldn't be nearly as cool as this. We forget how cool this movie really is. They're fighting on a lava planet while floating down a lava river while fighting with lightsabers in the Force. Like, it doesn't get much better than this. But let's, of course, get some of the greatest dialogue in all of Star Wars right here.
You were the chosen one.
So cool.
It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them. Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness.
Damn.
I hate you.
Oh,
You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you.
all right, we're not going to watch Anakin burn alive, but that is probably the greatest scene in Star Wars, in my opinion. Then we get Palpatine show up. They do all of it till the end of the movie. See him crawling up. He's still alive. I always loved Palpatine in Clone Wars animation. He looks so weird, but he looks great. I mean, come on. It doesn't get much cooler than this. It really doesn't. It's so cool. You know, it'd be really cool if it turned into like Rebels animation, like at the end, like Vader from Rebels. This is Padme, of course, as she is dying of sadness. So cool. Then Padme dies, which we don't have to watch. It's so good. They did quite a good job with this. Because you don't see Vader much in Clone Wars at all. Him and Palp's looking at the Death Star. Let me get the credits. But the fact that a fan can make that from their house still amazes me. And how good it is. I mean, let's be honest. It's probably one of the best scenes in Star Wars, and to animate it that well in the Clone Wars fashion is pretty damn cool. So what do we think? What did we think of that? Did you guys like that? Was it cool? Was it fun? Was it awesome? Can I please get you guys all to freaking smash a like on this video? Jesus, what are we doing here? Are we just not smashing likes on videos anymore? What's going on with that? All right, let me see what you guys were saying in the chat as we watched that, because I couldn't have both up at the same time. Let's see. Where were we? Anthony said, oh, I already read that one. Anthony follows up and says, second thing, have you seen the new non-Disney / Lucasfilm short film Sands of Fate, a Star Wars story? Already the story and characters are better than the Obi-Wan show or Kenobi. I have not seen that. Sands of Fate? I have not seen that. I'll have to check it out. Tony, what's up? Says Tony is here. Anthony says, I actually want Tim Martin's 25-minute Star Wars film, he worked on The Mandalorian, to have its characters incorporated into the Lucas version of canon in Star Wars Outlaws and the Mandoverse. I don't know what you're referring to. Like a Star Wars fan film that would be brought into canon? I don't know what you're referring to. There is some Star Wars Outlaws news, though, that we have to get to today. Star Wars Kata says they add some scenes into the battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Yes, they did. They added some scenes, and it was really, really cool. Ian says Anakin not getting that Ahsoka left is not about him. Yeah, it's not about him. She leaves because of the Jedi Order, and it's the same reason that Dooku leaves and Qui-Gon doesn't go on the council. There's many instances in Anakin's life where people leave the Jedi Order, people that are semi-close to him, and he's kind of as confused as to why, and he doesn't really see the real reason. And that's that the Jedi are evil. No, they're not the evil ones, but they definitely have lost sight on what they really wanted to do. Austin says, I like the animated one better than the live action one. All right, let's ask you guys that. Which do you prefer? Let's do it. Which do you prefer? Live action or animation? I'm going to have to clarify what this is for people who come in late. Anakin versus Obi. Fight. Which do you prefer? Live action or animation? You tell me. All right. Where was I? Star Wars Kata says, I don't like the idea of Ahsoka. I think it isn't a needed character. Wow. I think Ahsoka is one of the greatest characters in Star Wars. She's probably top 3 at least top 3, if not top 2. And I just think that she is not only so important to the character of Anakin, to his fall to the dark side, but she is such an amazing character for non-Anakin story-related things. From Rebels to, of course, now her own show in the Mandoverse, she's going to be way more important towards the future of Star Wars that doesn't even involve Anakin in any way. But when you watch the prequel trilogy and you know that Anakin had an apprentice and that apprentice left the Jedi Order, that is a big reason as to why Anakin falls to the dark side, and she's extremely important. Jason Skywalker says, this scene always makes me tear up. It is quite an incredible scene. It gives me goosebumps every time. Anthony says, I also noticed that I felt much more invested in this depiction of Return of the Jedi since Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme are better rendered as characters in animation over live action. Really? Really? That's crazy. Yeah, that is crazy. Jay says, why are his eyes not yellow? Well, they are by the end. They are by the end of the fight, but at the beginning they start off blue. Yeah. Yeah. Star Wars Kata says, there are some goof in their clothes. Watch it again. Goof? You mean like the animation's a little off with their clothes? I bet you there's some off parts of animation. There's a lot going on in that 15 minutes and probably took a long time. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm sure there's some messing up in there, but not enough to really notice. Anthony says, well, around 2005, George Lucas certainly felt that the introduction and inclusion of Ahsoka Tano was a needed aspect of the life and fate of Anakin Skywalker. Filoni created the character. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Clone Wars was created for a reason. There was a lot of story that needed to be explored and told in between episode 2 and 3 through the Clone Wars to sort of explain Anakin's fall to the dark side a little bit better. Yeah. Fearless, what's up? Says hello there. Did you change your profile picture? Is that Anakin? Is that Hayden with the Darth Vader mask? Ian says, there are moves in this that I don't remember from the original. Well, yeah, there's actually some newer scenes in that. So the Revenge of the Sith fight has actually been cut down. Revenge of the Sith itself has been cut down pretty, like a lot. It used to be a 4.5-hour version of Revenge of the Sith that would have a lot longer scenes, new scenes that weren't involved, but some of those scenes were in this Anakin versus Obi-Wan fight. And I'm not too sure if this animation took those deleted scenes or not, but there is definitely newer scenes that aren't in the movie version of it. But there are some cut scenes that didn't make the final cut of the movie, so that might be what those are from. Star Wars Kata says, well, I think after season 7, Ahsoka needs to be killed. I mean, she is pretty useless in the storyline. Well, not anymore. Now she's probably the most important thing there is in the storyline after the original trilogy. Austin says, I love how they're not showing the fight between Yoda and Palpatine. Well, yeah, they're not cutting back and forth. It's a full fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan that's uncut. In the original movie, they cut between their fight and Palpatine versus Yoda. And Palpatine versus Yoda, I think, is a very underrated fight just because it's right alongside of Obi-Wan versus Anakin, which is the best fight ever. So it goes underappreciated, but I mean, if he wants to go animate the Yoda versus Palpatine fight, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think this fight just has more significance to it. Yeah. Star Wars Kata says, we need a complete version with of the Yoda and Palpatine fight. Yeah, that would be cool too. Yeah. Anthony says, those new moves / attacks are meant to fill the blank spaces between Lucas's editing / flickering back and forth between Yoda and Palpatine's duels. It's ingenuous. So there are gaps in the fight because of the cutting back and forth between Yoda versus Palpatine. So they needed to fill those gaps. But at some point, there were some deleted scenes as well that could have been just those scenes that he involved with. Like, the beginning of this whole 15-minute video is a deleted scene from Clone Wars. There's probably a lot of deleted scenes in the fight as well. Yeah. Austin says, so much better than the live-action version. Really? Interesting. 64% of you guys like the live-action version better, but that means that 36% of you guys like the animated version better. I know a lot of Star Wars fans don't really like animated stuff. And that sorry. And that's perfectly okay. A lot of Clone Wars fans really love Clone Wars, really love Bad Batch, really love Rebels, because it's a lot of Star Wars story that's not explained in live action, like the character of Ahsoka Tano. But there's a lot of normie fans, or even not normie fans, that only watch live action content. They're not a fan of animated stuff. The fact that still 36% of us here like the animated version better is quite crazy, and a great compliment to this guy who created this thing, because it's a masterpiece. Jay Skywalker says, Revenge of the Sith is my favorite, and it's the best in my opinion. I agree with that. We need a remake of Revenge of the Sith fully in the Clone Wars style. The whole movie? That might take a lot of work, and I'm sure, I mean, maybe this guy is working on that. I don't know, but we'll see. Star Wars Kata says, no, I think the live-action version of the movie is better. Tony says, Anakin says that line better here than in the movie. Which line, Tony? I don't know what you're referring to. But yes, I agree with you, but I don't know what you're referring to. Jay says, there's a lot of emotion on Obi-Wan's face. I don't know why people are saying otherwise. I know. Like, when you watch him, like, it's just his face, and he's not even saying anything. You can really feel the emotion. Yeah. That's where Vader makes his castle. Yeah, he makes his castle right near the bank on the side of the lava river where he burns alive. That's where Vader's castle gets built too. Yeah. Yeah. The only time it rains on Coruscant. Does he get rebuilt on Coruscant? I think so. Yeah. So yeah, you're probably right. Anthony says, you could say, in a way, the heart of the Republic is shedding a tear for its toppling and corruption by the return of the Sith. I like that. Oh, like Coruscant, it's raining there because the Republic is shedding a tear? That's some pretty good sort of storytelling there. If you're really making it rain on a planet where it almost never rains just because it's the downfall of the Jedi and all these different people dying, like that's some pretty good directing, or I guess post-production directing, I guess. I don't really know. The animation of Vader was really good. Yeah, it was. It was incredible. Better than Rebels Vader. Rebels Vader is different on purpose. It's different to look more like the concept design of Darth Vader that Ralph McQuarrie drew originally, and I honestly really, really like it. I like that there's a contrast between that Vader and other Vaders that we've seen before. I think it's really, really cool, and it doesn't take you out of it. It's not like, oh, that's not Vader anymore. Like, that's still Vader. Fearless says, I didn't need this scene in animation. I'd rather watch the original of Return of the Jedi, but it is still cool. Someone made this, and there's a lot of effort there. Yeah, I mean, probably if I were to put the two side by side, I would say that the live action version is better. Just purely because it came first. It's real actors acting, and I feel like it's a little bit more emotional. However, a lot of effort went into this animation. It's 16 minutes of fully animated Clone Wars style. Like, this must have taken, I'd guess, years. I really don't know how long this would take, but a long, long time, and it really came out really, really good. Star Wars Kata says, Vader in Rebels is terrible. Vader is great in this animation. He does look very, very good in this animation, but it's a different sort of thing in Rebels. Jay says, Ahsoka is my favorite character of all time. Well, there you go. Ahsoka is a lot of people's favorite character of all time. I think Anakin's probably my favorite. Ahsoka's probably number 2. And then probably either Maul. Probably Maul. I think Ezra's up there. I think Obi-Wan's, of course, up there. Luke, of course. If the sequel trilogy went better, Luke would be a lot higher on the list, but yeah. Zach Attack, what's up, Zach says, live action is better, but this animation recreation is also incredible. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. I think the live action one is better, but this is absolutely incredible, and I want to see more. Like, if they did all these different lightsaber duels, like if they did Duel of the Fates in Phantom Menace between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul in animation, I'm 100% down for it. If they did all the lightsaber duels from all Star Wars in Clone Wars animation, I'd be 1000% down for that. Raheem, what's up? Star Wars Kata says, I think without Ahsoka, nothing would have changed. Well, yeah, of course, Ahsoka comes in after the fact, so nothing would have changed in the prequel trilogy because the prequel trilogy already played out before Ahsoka's character was created. However, now Ahsoka's character has become so important to the story of Star Wars, going from Rebels to the Mandoverse. Cappy says, what's up, Cappy? Ahsoka links a lot of characters. Pretty cool. She knows a lot of characters in the universe. Yeah, she connects all the Rebels cast. She knows the Mandalorian. She knows Luke Skywalker, of course, and Anakin and Obi-Wan, and she knows everybody pretty much. She's connected to so many different characters, and that's what's really, really cool. Fearless did change her profile picture. I like it. Austin says, we almost got Ahsoka in live action. Well, we do have Ahsoka in live action. Cappy says, like the Lego version better, explains the whole story properly. The Lego version from the video game? Yeah, me too. Fearless says, I really like the animated stuff as long as it's adding to the film/show and not copying scenes from them. So you don't like these recreations of the same scenes, is what you're saying? You want new scenes and new stories? I really do like that this video, the whole entire video, opens with the deleted scene from Clone Wars. Let's rewatch this scene, by the way. This scene is incredible. So this is them by the fire at the beginning, and it's extremely important. I wonder why they cut it out of... I mean, it must have been a whole arc from Season 7 that they had to cut out, and this was probably just involved in that. But this is an extremely important conversation.
You can't take responsibility for Ahsoka's decision, Anakin.
How would you feel if I turned into a major disappointment?
It's not the same.
It's precisely the same. You took me under your wing and practically raised me.
I'm your Padawan, just like Ahsoka was mine. How well would you sleep knowing I failed you?
Not very well, I imagine. Luckily, that isn't true. And never will be.
And never will be. But what's funny about that is it cuts to the Revenge of the Sith fight, of course. But you could also create this same exact scene, play it out the same way, and instead of zooming in on Anakin's face, you could zoom in on Obi-Wan's face and cut to the beginning of Kenobi, where he wakes up from the nightmare. Like, it is such a telling scene, and I'm very glad that it finally got finished off. Like Fearless was saying, if we're getting more animated scenes like this that are important to the story of, like, that is such a short scene. It's probably about 20-30 seconds, but it's so important. It's so telling to the characters of Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan, to the future of all those characters. It's foreshadowing everything. It's really cool. Star Wars Kata says, too much live action is a bad thing. I guess I get where you're coming from. I like the contrast of animation versus live action, and I think we need a lot more animated stuff because the animated stuff costs less. It's really, really cool, and you can explore more characters in better ways. Like, the whole gist of not being able to do more Luke, Leia, and Han because you have to either recast the characters or deepfake the characters, create an animated show. It worked so well with the Clone Wars, you're probably going to get the same sort of fan reception with a Luke, Leia, and Han animated show in between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy. Fearless says, I really liked the new and improved fight between Vader and Obi-Wan because it was better, but at least it wasn't animated. Oh, so you're talking about Vader versus Obi-Wan in the Kenobi show? I did like that fight as well, and it's very, very cool. But I mean, if it was animated, it probably wouldn't be as emotional, I guess. I do get that live action stuff is way more, like, you feel it more than the animated stuff. But there is instances where you really have connections to these animated characters. Zap, what's up? Zap says, yeah, Rebels Vader is slick. Yeah, he is. Clone Wars animated movies, they would be cool. It's definitely, they would be really, really cool, but Lucasfilm's never going to make them themselves, so it's up to the fans to sort of make them, and fans aren't going to make any money off of them, so it's like, you're going to have to put a lot of time and effort into animating an entire Star Wars movie, and the outcome is not going to be like the greatest. Tony says, the line I meant was, I hate you. The movie version over-vocalized too high of a voice, somewhat childish. In the animation, his voice is more forceful. Yeah, I think it's just two different versions. I think the live action one is just as good. It's just a different sort of, it's a Padawan screaming at his master, or is like almost a son and a father screaming at him, "I hate you." Star Wars Kata says, how could Ahsoka be your favorite character when we have characters like Vader, Boba Fett, Palpatine, Yoda, Luke, etc.? That's a good question. I think Ahsoka is such a good character because we spend so much time with her. She goes from being a whiny little baby, like Luke Skywalker does as well in A New Hope, to this incredible, awesome, cool character in Season 7 of Clone Wars, going into Rebels, going into Ahsoka, becoming Ahsoka the White. Like, has the best, second best story arc in Star Wars other than Vader and Anakin. And that's why she's just the best. She's so damn cool. Anthony says, just so you know, Tim Martin is the main creator of Sands of Fate. Okay. It was released 2 weeks ago. It's so high quality, it could almost be on Disney Plus. All right, I gotta look this up. What's it called? Sands of Fate? Sands of Fate. Oh, it's live action. Okay. Maybe we'll have to check that out soon. Or I'll check it out off stream so that we can just kind of, avoid stuff. Tony says, but it's not received the number of views that the video in just the past 3 days. Yeah, so that's true too. This Sands of the Fate only has 64,000 views, which is a lot. But the Clone Wars animated version of Anakin versus Obi-Wan has 1.5 million views in 3 days. And it's number 35 on trending on YouTube, so that's pretty big for it as well. And it's quite the masterpiece, I must say. Yeah. I still hope for the unfinished arc from the Clone Wars to be figured out either in Tales of the Jedi or a special hour-long Clone Wars Disney Plus release or some flashback in the Mandoverse. Yeah, there's a lot of Clone Wars arcs that were in the works, like previs already ready to go, that didn't get finished because they weren't integral to the story being told. And I'd love to see all those be played out eventually, but I just don't see that happening unless there's a purpose for them. Like there's the whole Cad Bane versus Boba Fett, how Boba Fett gets his dent in his helmet. That was also supposed to be in Season 6 or Season 7 of the Clone Wars, but we didn't get that because it wasn't so important to the story. It's important to how this dent happened on Boba Fett's helmet, but it's not important to the story that's going on at the time in the Clone Wars. Yeah. Fearless says, there's no way... Wait, no, there was a fan-made version of the fight in A New Hope. It was sick. Yes, that's true, too. Vader versus Obi-Wan is what you were talking about. It was called SC-38 Reimagined. Yeah, so that's the A New Hope fight between Vader and Obi-Wan, which at the time in 1977 was done as well as they could, with the lightsabers being what they were. And some fan came out years later and created a new version of that fight, where it's more like the prequels, where it's more swinging of lightsabers and more fast-paced, because that fight in A New Hope is very, very slow, but that's because of the technology at the time. Yeah. Zap says, yeah, sorry, man, I haven't been here for a while, been busy with grad school, don't worry about it. Do you think this gets Lucasfilm's attention at all? Probably not. I think it does at some level. It's got 2 million views in the first 3 days. There's no way that it's going under the radar to anybody at Lucasfilm. If there's anyone who really would see it, it would be somebody like Dave Filoni. I'm sure he's been tagged to watch this 1 million times, and I'm sure he did. I mean, if there's anybody out there that would want to support the fans like he does, it would be him. So I'm sure he's seen this or it's come across his desk and he's going to watch it at some point. But yeah, I do hope that it makes some waves over at Lucasfilm. Like maybe we should be doing some more cool stuff like this, you know? And of course, don't worry about it as long as you're back, because we missed you around here. Anthony says, it was so sick. I wish Lucas had gone back in time to put that in the Star Wars Special Edition of the trilogy. Yeah, I think the original trilogy is something special. I think it shouldn't be really messed with too much because what it was and what it is still, it holds up to this day. Even with the special effects from the 70s and 80s, it still holds up to now. Zap says, you have a Patreon now? No, we don't have a Patreon, but we do have memberships on the channel. So if you see like those lightsabers next to people's names, those people are members. You can join for 99 cents. You can join for $5. You can join for $10. If you join for $10, you get a free lightsaber at the end of a whole year at $10. So yeah, we got memberships now. And we do giveaways and all that stuff. So if you become a member, you get instant access to giveaways. You get all this other cool feature stuff, a Discord stuff, all that stuff. Yeah. No Patreon, but members, yeah. Tony says, that's because people don't hit the like button on YouTube analytics, and that will drop these fan films on their queue. I would not have heard about this video until today on Mike's show. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Zap says, okay, may do that. Well, I may appreciate that. Yeah. All right, so that was pretty damn cool. I must say that is quite a fan edit, and I really, 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 really do like the fact that a fan could make that at home. Yeah. It's really, really cool. Now, we do have a lot of other news to get to, and we just spent 50 minutes on that, and I still can't imagine. Like, every time I look at the clock over there, I'm like, how is that possible? But if we spent 50 minutes on it. So, we got some other news to get to here. Some Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy news, which I think we're going to save till last. I think we're going to go to the Star Wars Outlaws news first, because that Sharmeen stuff is going to get me pissed, and I don't want to be pissed right now. I want to have some fun first. So let's have some fun first, okay? Okay. Tony says, or if you wait till Advent, you might get gifted one. If you wait till Advent, you might get gifted one? Oh, I get you, Tony. I get you. Zap says, I'd rather pay Mike. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right, let's dive into this Star Wars Outlaws news. So Star Wars Outlaws is the next Star Wars video game. It's going to follow this character of Kay Vess, who's a smuggler from the underworld, and we're going to get to follow this whole entire story and play as this character in between episodes 5 and 6, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And you're going to get to play through in an open world Star Wars game where you can do anything, have different relationships with everybody, the Empire, different crime syndicates, Jabba the Hutt, possibly Kiara from the Crimson Dawn. Like, there's going to be so many characters that can be involved in this game that you might not see in other media, like Moff Gideon or literally anybody. Literally anybody. So, with that being said, when are we going to finally see this game? Might be a while. It was supposed to be in the spring of 2024. Now, that might not be the case anymore, as we are getting new reports. This is coming from Bespin Bulletin, this article right here, that Star Wars Outlaws confirms release in late 2024. Late does mean a lot of things. That could mean anywhere from July till December, but I'm hoping it's on the earlier side, but let's go with this. Disney has officially confirmed that the Star Wars game set to release by Massive Entertainment and Ubisoft, Star Wars Outlaws, will be released late in 2024 following a delay. In October, Ubisoft delayed a unnamed large game to an unknown time in the next fiscal year, which begins on April 1st of 2024 until March 31st of 2025. Though Ubisoft themselves didn't explicitly state that this title was Star Wars Outlaws, various outlets reported that it was. Outlaws was announced officially the summer of 2023, with a release planned during Ubisoft's fiscal year that would run until March 31st of 2024. So people thought it was going to be released before April of 2024, because that's when the new fiscal year starts for Ubisoft. However, many optimistic fans had hoped that the delay would be slight, hoping that the title would be released sometime still in the spring of 2024, with some pointing towards May for obvious reasons. However, May the 4th, that is the obvious reason, May the 4th. However, being the realist that I am, and the destroyer of joy, I always assumed the delay would see the Outlaw title shift into the fall of 2024 so that Ubisoft could capitalize on the holiday period, and the fall is typically when the bigger releases occur. Ubisoft themselves typically releases entries in their Assassin's Creed franchise during this period as well. Delaying Outlaws to the fall would also give developers more time to perfect the game and would hopefully prevent the team from being overworked, something that's very prevalent in the video game industry. In April of last year, Kotaku reported that sources close to the project felt that Ubisoft's ambitions of a release by March 31st of 2024 seemed unrealistic, and given the work needed, a release sometime during the following fiscal year seems more realistic. Less than a year from that report, Outlaws has found itself slipping into Ubisoft's fiscal 2024-2025 calendar, and now, thanks to Disney, we know roughly when to expect this game. Of all places, I did not expect the Disney Parks website to confirm the release window of the upcoming Ubisoft release. So Disney Parks, which of course are the theme parks where you can go to ride rides for Star Wars, are the ones that confirmed when the Ubisoft video game would be released. Within their 24 worthy things of Disney experiences in 2024 article, it was revealed that Star Wars Outlaws will receive a release in the later parts of 2024. The open-world Star Wars game is set to release late this year. So what does late 2024 mean? As mentioned earlier in this article, months ahead of this tidbit, I believe the delay Outlaws suffered would see it release in the fall of 2024. My guess is that the title will land in the fourth quarter of the year, which covers the final 3 months of the year, October, November, and December. Most modern Star Wars video games have released around the time of a live-action series or film release. EA's Battlefront released 1 month before The Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens released 1 month ahead of Rise of Skywalker. Squadrons released during the same month of The Mandalorian Season 2. Jedi Survivor released the month of The Mandalorian Season 3. So they like to release video games close to the Star Wars shows because people are really excited about the shows and they'll want to go play Star Wars video games. So 2024 will see the release of 2 live-action Star Wars series, The Acolyte and The Skeleton Crew. 4 months ago, I shared an exclusive report that detailed the release window for many upcoming live-action Star Wars shows, and within that article, I shared that I was told that The Acolyte would release first, with my speculations of being the summer release, and that I had been informed by sources that Skeleton Crew has been delayed to November of 2024. This information was later backed by Making Star Wars in November of last year. So with that in mind, I expect to see Outlaws released around the time of the release of The Skeleton Crew. So I'd be hedging my bets on a release window of October, or more so November of this year. And then he just thanks us for reading his article. So with that being said, it was supposed to release before April of 2024 of this year, and now it could be delayed as far as October or November of this year. Now, for video game purposes, of course, if this was like a movie or a show, I'd probably be a little bit more upset. Video game purposes, I am looking forward to this game a whole lot. An open world Star Wars game is extreme and it is a big, big deal. However, with that being said, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a huge game, and it's going to take a lot to run that game. It's going to take a lot of work to perfect that game. And if they need an extra 6-7 months, take it. Take it to perfect this game. I don't want to get a release of a game where I can't play it. If I get this game and I want to play through it on the channel, which I'm going to, I'm not going to want to have to restart my streams or have to stop doing all this time. Like, just take your time, make it perfect, and release it whenever it's ready. With video games, I'm more on the side of just release it when it's ready. Just release it when it's ready. On the other side of things, like here, they didn't give us a specific release date. If they were like, oh, it's going to come out on February 1st, and then they were like, we're going to delay it till November, then I'd probably be upset. There was no release date set. They just said spring of 2024. If it's going to get pushed to fall of 2024, I'm not that upset about it. If it was a show that I was looking forward to, like maybe Acolyte, and Acolyte had a release window of March or April and got delayed till November, I'd be pretty upset. But that's a whole nother story. With a video game, I don't want to come out on here, stream this game, and have it just crash. That's not at all what I want. Jedi Survivor had its issues on PC, and maybe even on PlayStation, but when I streamed it, it was perfect. Almost zero issues at all, except for some audio delay on a few of the streams. But other than that, it was perfect. That game was so damn good. It had a bunch of good creators working on it on the back end. Respawn is a great company. So if Ubisoft wants to make an incredible game, if Massive Entertainment wants to give us the perfect open world Star Wars game, take the time you need, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Now, let me ask you guys, are you guys upset about this delay? Were you looking forward to this game? Are you going to play this game? Because I know a lot of fans were upset when it was first announced. It's not a customizable character. You have to play as this girl, Kay Vess. But it's still open world Star Wars. You can fly from planet to planet. You can explore well-known planets like Tatooine will be involved in the game. You can go have a relationship with Jabba the Hutt. You can go, like, you can turn on him and then become his enemy, or you can work for him and become good friends. Like, there's so much possibilities with this game. You could see Boba Fett. You could see other bounty hunters like Bosk or anybody, IG-88. Or you could see some Imperials like Moff Gideon, or just some other Imperial people that we don't even know at this point. The sort of time period of this game is what excites me the most. Being in between episodes 5 and 6, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, is a very cool time period for Star Wars that's only really been explored in the comics. So getting to actually play in that time period is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. All right, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Zap says, hoping it'll be like Skyrim, but better. But that's a tall tale. Skyrim is a big game, and I've only played like one of them, I believe, but I didn't really play it that much. But I have heard those games are really, really good. I do hope when they say open world, it truly is open world. From what we've seen so far, it does look like it's open world. We got a trailer for that game. We got a gameplay trailer for that game. So I'm sure this game is further along than we might think, like further along in development, that is. So I'm excited. Anthony says, that's why after you watch Sands of Fate, you'll see why I want the character of Tyro K and Akiva and etc. to be featured in Star Wars Outlaws and The Mandalorian's side quests. I seriously doubt it because it's a fan film, but I do get what you're saying. So which will we get first then, Skeleton Crew or Star Wars Outlaws? Maybe they'll end up being a 1-2 punch of brand new Star Wars content that may in some way spill into paralleling each other. It's possible. It's definitely possible that some of the characters in Skeleton Crew could be seen in Outlaws. We know that pirates are going to be involved heavily in Skeleton Crew, and maybe pirates will be in Outlaw too. But I think it will be a 1-2 punch later on in the year. I think you'll go probably Acolyte in the summer, and then Outlaws in the early fall, and Skeleton Crew in the late fall. That'd be really, really cool. Yeah. Zap says, gotta take their time so that it will be good. I agree with that. Yeah, you can go just about anywhere in Skyrim almost. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty open world. And when you talk about open world with Star Wars, it's open galaxy. You can go from planet to planet, but you can also just hang out in space and just fly, which is pretty tough to do when you're creating all this massive world. Hopefully the same is with this game. It's an open world sandbox. Yeah, it's open world. Every conversation that you have with every character can change the outcome of how you play the game, how the story ends up for you. You can turn on the Empire, you can work for the Empire, you can turn on the crime syndicates, you can work for the crime syndicates. You choose your path, and what's really cool is it has a GTA aspect of it where if you're wanted by the Empire, it's like a star system in GTA where you're wanted by the cops and you have to run and hide. It's the same thing with the Empire. So that'll be really, really cool as well. Fearless says, unfortunately, I can't play games, but I like watching gameplay on YouTube and supporting content creators. Well, there you go, Fearless. I'll definitely be playing through this game for sure. I just can't wait for it to come out. Actually, this will be a good time for me to shout this out because we talked about this on this. So yesterday, huge shout out to Star Wars Sith. He is a member of this channel actually, but he's a very good YouTuber himself. Let's go pull him up right now. Let's do it. Star Wars Sith. Star Wars Sith. He just hit 5,000 subscribers on Sunday as well. We kind of did it together. It was pretty cool. Star Wars Sith, if you're not subscribed to him, go do that now. He does live streams called Sith Talks, and maybe, yeah, here we go. His Sith Talks there. We did a Sith Talk yesterday. We pre-recorded it. It will come out on Friday. So that'll be really, really cool. We had a very fun conversation yesterday. We went for like an hour and a half or an hour and 40 minutes, and he usually only goes an hour, and he's like, we just kept talking because we were just having so much fun. That's going to be really, really cool. That comes out on Friday, so watch out for that video as well. I'll, of course, post it on my stories and in the Discord and all that stuff, so watch out for that video on Friday. That was a lot of fun, and Tony's a really good guy. Yeah. Fearless says, looking forward to watching you play this game whenever it drops. I appreciate that, Fearless. All right. Enough messing around. Let's talk about what Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy said. So, a little TLDR on what's going down here. So, the Rey movie. Ever heard of it? The Rey movie. The Rey movie is going to be the next Star Wars film. It's set to begin filming this year, hopefully in April, if not a little bit later. It's supposed to start filming, and it will follow Rey 15 years after the events of The Rise of Skywalker. Now, we don't know if Finn will be involved. We don't know if Kylo will be involved. We don't know if any of the sequel other members will be involved. All we know is that it's going to be Rey starting up her new Jedi Order 15 years after Rise of Skywalker. We also know that the writer is it was Damon Lindelof and is now Stephen Knight, who did Peaky Blinders, which is an incredible show. But the director is what really puzzles a lot of people. Many fans are very upset that this is a continuation of the sequel trilogy. This is the first Star Wars movie to be released since that sequel trilogy, and a lot of fans are really upset about that. Another thing that a lot of fans are really upset about is the director that they chose for this movie. They're trying to redeem the characters of Rey, Finn, and others from the sequel trilogy, and to do that, you're going to want to probably get the best creatives around it, the people who know Star Wars the most. And the director is a lady by the name of Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. Now, Sharmeen has very little experience when it comes to directing, but she has no experience when it comes to Star Wars. And that's what concerns a lot of fans. And the concern is risen again after some comments that she made yesterday. To start the year off right, Sharmeen thought it would be a good idea to say these things. Now, we're going to get into exactly what she said. We're going to watch the actual interview and what she said specifically, and then we're going to break it all down. But keep in mind that her directing background is she's won multiple awards for short films. And the only real non-short film directing that she's done is 2 episodes of the Miss Marvel show for Marvel, which, let's be honest, was a disaster. Unless you were a Pakistani teenage girl, which was the audience that it was for, I guess, you probably didn't like it too much. With that being said, she has 0 Star Wars experience. Zip, nada. 0 Star Wars experience, and is supposed to direct the next Star Wars movie. So, what did she say? Why are fans upset? Let's dive into all of this. So we'll read this article first, then we'll watch what she said in the interview, and then we have a third article as well. So, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy briefly discusses the upcoming Star Wars film. We are about to create something very special. Happy New Year! It's shaping up to be a big one for Star Wars, and among other things, it may be the first since early 2019 in which cameras are rolling on a new Star Wars feature film. That's exciting. If all goes well, that will be the case for this new film starring Daisy Ridley, in which Rey Palpatine is set to rebuild the Jedi Order. Last night, as the year comes to a close, we heard about it from someone who wasn't publicly talked about it much. Oh, we heard from someone who hasn't publicly talked about it much, and that is director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. Speaking with CNN's Christy Lou Stout, as Pakistan was getting ready to welcome in the new year, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, who is Pakistani born, was briefly asked about her upcoming Star Wars movie, to which she said will be something very special. I'm thrilled about this project because I feel like we are about to create something very special. And we are in 2024 now, and it's time that we had a woman come forward to shape a story in the Star Wars galaxy. In the galaxy far, far away. Obviously, it wasn't a big statement, but much like the Daisy Ridley comments a couple months ago, a big takeaway is that she's talking about it. We've heard nothing from her since the Vice News TikTok video published shortly after the announcement at Star Wars Celebration, and the main statement here is that the project continues to progress. The news anchor also confirmed that Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's film will be released in 2026, even though Lucasfilm hasn't dated it yet. There have been multiple times in which we could read between the lines from official statements that this would be the case. That includes Obaid-Chinoy's Instagram post following her walk across the stage on Celebration. This was her post where she alludes to it coming out in 2026. Exactly a year ago, we were sharing a rumor about the film getting targeted to shoot in April of 2023, which of course didn't happen. Much has happened since then, including a creative overhaul that saw the departure of then co-writer Damon Lindelof and Justin Gibson. Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy stayed on, and Peaky Blinders creator Stephen Knight was brought to pen the script, which would now see the return of Daisy Ridley as Rey Palpatine, the Jedi Master, who will be rebuilding the Jedi Order in the film. Whether she's going to be the protagonist or some of her students will be, we don't really know. The first draft, blah, 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 blah. All right, so let's see what she really said. That this quote is kind of taken out of context, but it is what she did say. So this is coming from CNN News. This is where she had the interview. Let's watch
Now,
it.
meanwhile, Pakistan is counting down to the start of a new year, and there are just over a couple of hours until the festivities begin there. Our next guest is an inspiration to women all over the world, including her home country of Pakistan. Filmmaker and activist Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is the only female director to have won 2 Academy Awards by the age of 37. She's also the first woman and the first person of color to direct a Star Wars film. It's set to be released in 2026. You can say that the force is strong with this one. Here's Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy.
You know, I'm very thrilled about the project because I think what we are about to create is something very special. And we're in 2024 now. And I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
When the Star Wars...
Okay, we're going to watch the rest of this, of course. But let's state the obvious. It's time for a woman to shape Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy has been the president of Lucasfilm for 12 years. Deborah Chow directed the entire Kenobi show. Bryce Dallas Howard has directed multiple episodes of The Mandalorian, and so have other female directors. You even go back to the original trilogy. Let's be honest, George Lucas's ex-wife, now wife at the time, was extremely involved in the creative process of the original trilogy, and a lot of what happened with that trilogy was because of her. It's time for a woman to start shaping the galaxy far, far away is quite a ridiculous statement. when they have been, and quite well, I might add, for years now. I think Bryce Dallas Howard is one of the most underrated directors ever, and honestly, I think she probably should have received this movie, not only because of her experience with Star Wars. Like, I feel like if you're going to direct Star Wars, you should have some experience with Star Wars in the past, and I know that's not always the case with creators. JJ, of course, didn't. Ryan, of course, didn't. The list goes on with directors that haven't had experience with Star Wars that have to come on board. But I think now, with the Disney Plus era of Star Wars, you should probably have some experience with directing an episode or two of a Disney Plus show and actually knowing what it is to do Star Wars before you actually get the reins to do a whole entire movie. With that being said, let's watch the rest of this.
Announcement came out, you posted this on Instagram. You said this, quote, "I have always been attracted to the hero's journey, and the world definitely needs more heroes. The blueprints of the heroes we see on screen are rooted in reality," unquote. Now, Charmaine, as an award-winning documentary filmmaker, you have met and profiled many real-life heroes fighting abuse, fighting violence against women. Is there one real-life hero you met?
Okay. Well, the rest of this interview, they don't talk about Star Wars. But because, of course, they can't. This movie's still in the very early stages, and they go into more of what her other experiences are, so we're not even going to bother with that. But what's interesting is what she says earlier on. Let's go back to it. Charmaine.
I'm very thrilled about the project because I think what we are about to create is something very special. And we're in 2024 now. And I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
It's about damn time. It's about damn time. So obviously, I don't care. I just don't. Honestly, I don't care at all. If a woman, a man, a dog is making the next Star Wars movie, I don't care. As long as they have experience with Star Wars, as long as they know what they're doing, I really don't care. It means absolutely nothing about who is creating the next Star Wars movie. I just want it to be good, and I want it to have somebody at least with experience with Star Wars. And Charmaine does not give that give the vibes of any sort of, like, she has no background in Star Wars. She has nothing to do with anything else Star Wars, and it seems like a bad move, especially when you're trying to redeem all these characters. If you wanted to give Charmaine a different Star Wars movie, I'd be okay with that, I guess. I still think it's a bad idea. I think you should at least give her a few episodes of Mando Season 4 or something first to see if she can actually do it, because she has no experience. She barely has experience with directing at all. She's done short films, and she's done 2 episodes of the Ms. Marvel show. So I think it's just a bad move by Star Wars. I think Lucasfilm needs to find a PR team ASAP, because this lady has only ever said 2 things, and the 2 things are very controversial in the Star Wars fandom. I think it's just a disaster waiting to happen, because this Rey movie is already a disaster waiting to happen, and this lady in charge of it is just making it a lot worse for a lot of fans. I'm not saying that it's not a good thing that women are directing Star Wars movies, because that's freaking fantastic. It's just the experience and actual ability to direct that concerns me with this lady. If this was Bryce Dallas Howard or even Deborah Chow, who's had experience with Star Wars and is a woman director, which, again, does not matter, I would be way more confident in their ability to give us a great Star Wars story. If Charmaine went to go direct another movie, I'm sure she'll make a good movie. It is only the Star Wars aspect of this whole entire thing that concerns me a whole lot. And again, where is Lucasfilm's PR team? Like, nobody is telling her, look, we've had countless women directors with Star Wars, and you're making all of them look like idiots. And you're making yourself look like an idiot, and you're gonna anger a lot of fans. there needs to be some sort of PR team that is on her ass about this, because there is no reason for her to be saying these things. It's not only taking away from the people that did this before, like a Bryce Dallas Howard or a Deborah Chow or whoever, but it's also making her look stupid, really dumb. And fans notice these things. Fans really, really notice these things. And it's a really, 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 really weird conversation to have, but I just don't think this lady is anywhere close to being the answer to the question of how are we going to fix this Rey character. And I just have no hope for this movie. At one point when they signed on Stephen Knight, I was like, okay, this could be good. Since then, there has been nothing to reassure me that this movie's going to be anything short of just a disaster. Anything. It just doesn't. I have no idea what this movie's going to be about. There's no villain set. We don't know if Finn's going to be involved. We don't know if Ben's going to be involved. We don't know if any of the sequel cast are going to be involved. All we really know is that this lady is out of her goddamn mind. And that's it. So, it's going to follow sequel characters, and it's got a director that nobody seems to like. And she has no experience with Star Wars. So, I'd love to see what you guys think about this. I'd love to see it. So tell me in the chat, of course. But let me catch up on some chats here. Anthony says, my guess, whatever the new feminist director says, it was spoken like a true disciple of Kathleen Kennedy's school of Star Wars. Not saying that. Zap says, does she have an Oscar or was that someone else for best documentary? Yes, so she's won awards for like her short films. I've never watched the short films, but I can guarantee you they didn't have any Ewoks in them. By that I mean they weren't Star Wars movies or Star Wars short films. They had nothing to do with the galaxy far, far away, and she has zero experience with it. She could be the greatest director of our time. It could be Christopher Nolan, for God's sakes. And I would still say he should probably direct an episode of The Mandalorian first to just feel Star Wars. It's something so different than creating any other movie, any other show. It's just a whole nother world. It's so different from everything else that I feel like you just need experience with that thing. That's why Dave Filoni is such a good guy to have do another movie or do a movie, because he's had so much experience with Star Wars, from Clone Wars to Rebels to Tales to Bad Batch to Mando to Ahsoka to now finally getting his own movie. If every director who directed a Star Wars movie had that background with Star Wars, we'd be perfectly fine. But that's not what's happening. She has won 2 Oscars for Best Documentary, and they weren't sci-fi ones either. No, they were not. Fearless says, is Filoni involved with this somehow? I certainly hope so. I think with his new promotion, he is. Being Chief Creative Officer, I think Dave Filoni will be involved in the Rey movie, and that's what does give me a glimmer of hope. If he's involved in any sort of way, if this turns out to be George Lucas in the original trilogy, where George Lucas hires Kirshner to do Empire Strikes Back, but it's really just George Lucas looking over his shoulder every single scene. And that's the same with Charmin, and Dave Filoni's looking over her shoulder every single scene. Perfect. Perfect. That would be amazing. But I don't think that's what's happening here. Anthony says, gee, isn't Jennifer Herbert the head writer for The Bad Batch? Doesn't Bryce Dallas Howard direct the first Mandalorian episode to feature Cara Dune, first female creative? Delusional much? Yeah, it's just a really dumb statement to say, and I feel like it's more evident that Lucasfilm themselves needs to get their head out of their ass. Like, how are they allowing this lady to even say something like this? That's what's more concerning. Ian says, but she is the first woman to direct a Star Wars movie, and that's a big deal. Yes, it is. 100% it is. But are you setting her up for a success, or are you setting her up for a massive failure? You're allowing the first female-directed Star Wars film to be the Rey movie. A character that many Star Wars fans dislike a whole lot. You're setting this lady up for failure, and not only that, but she has no experience with Star Wars, which is setting her up for even more failure. So if you're going to have a female-directed movie, you're probably going to want to give her something better to work with. But that's just me. Zap says, Oscar talk on any level, yeah, she must know what she's doing. Oh, 100%. I think she's probably a very good director. Star Wars director almost is a completely different definition, in my own head at least. Anthony says, supposedly Dave Filoni walked into the writer's room while the script was being written/rewritten or touched up, and had how much say even the CCO he has. That's a mystery. Wait, how much power you're saying even the CCO has? That's a mystery? Yeah, I don't know how much power that Dave Filoni has on this movie, or any movie for that matter, further down the line. As Chief Creative Officer, everything goes through him, but I just don't know how involved he's going to be with the final product. Ian says, although I agree Bryce Dallas Howard is really underrated. Yeah, she is. As a director, she is. She's a good actress. She's in a lot of different things. But as a director, her Mando episodes are some of the best. Maybe the best. Maybe Dave Filoni's are, but hers are second best. Fearless says, well, with him, I have hope that it's not going to be a total failure. With him, I have hope. With Dave Filoni, I think you're saying? You have hope that it's not going to be a total failure? I'm not too sure. Anthony says, oh my God, Bryce Dallas Howard should be given the first theatrical Star Wars release movie. Her episodes are epic in The Mandalorian, and she's also friends with George Lucas herself through her dad, Ron Howard. Roots in reality. Yes, I mean, she would be the perfect person to do that, and this is just another example of Disney not learning from their mistakes. It would be the perfect sort of way to announce it too. You could say that George Lucas is a very good friend of the creator himself, George Lucas, and she is an incredible director who's worked on many different Star Wars projects before, from the Book of Boba Fett to The Mandalorian. She's one of the best directors we got around here, and now she's going to be doing the first Star Wars movie. Fans would absolutely love that. Instead, you're bringing in a lady who has no experience with Star Wars. Zap says, Brains would not be able to write a Star Wars, Mike, be real. Brain would not be able to write a Star Wars movie, Mike, be real. I don't know what you mean. Brain? Oh, Brian, maybe? What are you saying? I don't know who you're talking about. Fearless says, I have nothing against female leads in a Star Wars movie, but with Rey, you need to make this one outstanding. Otherwise, the wrath of the fandom will be epic. Yeah, if this one fails, then Star Wars is really dead. A lot of people do say that, but you have a lot riding on this movie. This Rey movie is probably the most important project that you're creating right now. It has the most on its shoulders. The Mando movie is already sort of hyped up by fans. Even the Dawn of the Jedi movie is way more exciting than a Rey movie. The Rey movie has so much negativity towards it that it needs to be amazing. And this is not a good start. Dr. Ratty Ross says, she is going to make it mainstream. Good guys idolized, bad guys. What are we saying here? And nothing in between for the characters. She's gonna make it mainstream. Oh, I get you. So she's gonna make it like just any other movie where it's something very similar to the sequel trilogy, where it's just mainstream, everybody loves it type thing, where there's nothing really going on in the background type thing. I could definitely see them going a very safe route. I just don't see I don't see fans enjoying that. That's what they did with the sequel trilogy. They went the safe route, or at least what they thought was the safe route, to make a quick buck. The Force Awakens, as good as it is, as it is the best of the sequel trilogy movies, it's still almost a carbon copy of A New Hope. And it was a quick way for them to make $2 billion, and it worked. That's probably what we're going to see with the Rey movie as well. Something along the lines of making a new Jedi Order. It'll probably be very similar to what we see in Legends with Luke creating his new Jedi Order. Yeah, 100%. Where was I? Zap says, as long as it's profitable. Yeah, well, the Rey movie being profitable is going to be a lot harder than you might think. Because a lot of Star Wars fans already, right now, are saying that they're not going to go see this movie. Unless it's probably a masterpiece. So that opening weekend is going to be a pretty bad one. And it's going to be the following weekend that's going to be very telling. Because, yes, Zap, I appreciate that a lot. Can I get some Good Cups follow orders in the chat, please? Zap is an OG, and he, of course, still remembers the Good Cup that follows orders. What was I saying? Yeah, if it's profitable. So the Rey movie, its second weekend is going to be the most important weekend because normie fans aren't going to want to go watch this movie until the hardcore fans say, no, this is really, really good. Or they say, no, this is really bad, don't go watch it. And that's kind of how the box office is going to work for this movie. They don't care about the reviews. They really don't. They don't care about the reviews as long as they make money. But if they aren't getting good reviews, this movie's not going to make money. Mike, can you imagine a Rebel or Empire war filmed by Christopher Nolan? Yeah. Imagine the solo war scene, but the whole movie? Yeah, that's true. A Christopher Nolan Star Wars movie would be incredible. Don't get me wrong, it would. It would be amazing. But, I don't know. We'll see. I don't think it'll ever happen, but we'll see. Zap says, their PR team be asleep, really, though. Yeah, it'll be the end. It'll end up like The Last Jedi. You'll either hate it or you'll love it. I certainly hope not. If it divides the fandom even more, it would be a disaster. Yeah. Anthony says, Mike, Kathleen Kennedy's problem with Bryce Dallas Howard is that Jon Favreau handpicked her for The Mandalorian. Yeah. I don't think Kathleen Kennedy was involved in the hiring process of Bryce Dallas Howard. I think that a lot of the Mando directors were handpicked by John and Dave themselves, like Taika, like Bryce, like Rick. All of those people that sort of work on The Mandalorian were handpicked by John and Dave, not Kathleen Kennedy. So I'm sure that's probably has some reason as to why she's not getting this movie. Yeah, for sure. Star Wars Kata's back. What's up? How we doing? Zap says, nah, you said a dog could direct, and that's what I meant by Brian from Family Guy. Oh, I get you. Yeah. Brian, yes, from Family Guy. Well, if Brian from Family Guy had experience directing Mando episodes that were really, really good, or any episodes for that matter, Bad Batch episodes, Ahsoka episodes, Acolyte episodes, Skeleton Crew episodes, any sort of experience with Star Wars, then yeah, why not? Dominic says, this animation was so sick, I watched it over the weekend. And also, hey guys, what's up, Dominic? How we doing? Yeah, we watched it through at the beginning of the stream. It is quite cool. Zap says, yeah, it won't happen, but you can dream of a Christopher Nolan war film. Yeah, you can dream. You can definitely dream about that. In a Star Wars version, that'd be incredible. So let's pull this up, because I gotta know. Let's end this last poll. By the way, 60% of you guys liked the live action version to 40% liking the animated version, which is kind of crazy. First of all, the math is mathing, which is a rare instance around here. But 40% is a lot of people who like that animated version better. Are you going to see the Rey movie? Yes or no? Just to get sort of the consensus around the community here. Are you going to go see the Rey movie? Yes or no? I gots to know. All right, let's now read the last article here. Yeah, let's read this last article coming from comicbook.com about this Charmin stuff, because they go into a little bit of other stuff going on here. Star Wars director teases that the Rey Palpatine sequel as being something very special. Star Wars fans were thrilled and shocked when it was announced at Star Wars Celebration that filmmaker Charmin Obaid-Chinoy was developing a new movie for the franchise that would see Daisy Ridley's Rey Palpatine return to the franchise to develop a new Jedi Order. With Charmin Obaid-Chinoy offering few updates on the project since the announcement, understandably, last year's writers and actors strike impeded development on the project, and substantial updates about the sequel has yet to be revealed. Obaid-Chinoy recently addressed the project, saying that it would be something very special. Neither the Rey Palpatine film nor any other announced Star Wars movie has a confirmed release date. But we know that there are release dates that Disney needs to make. May 22nd of 2026, December 21st or something like that of 2026, and December 17th or 19th of 2027. So there are set release dates. These movies themselves just don't have set release dates. So this is what she said. We watched it in the video, of course. I'm very thrilled to be a part of this project. I believe that we're about to create something very special, she said. And we are in 2024. And it's about time that we had a woman come forward and shape a story in a galaxy far, far away, which is just ridiculous. But yes, we go on. As far as movie teases go, this is one of the more obtuse comments about the upcoming adventure. But the fact that Obaid-Chinoy specifically has been so quiet about the status of this sequel is promising, in that it seems she hasn't parted ways with Lucasfilm, which we've seen happen a lot. In the decades since the Walt Disney Company acquired the studio, there has been a number of filmmakers who have joined and left the Star Wars franchise. So for Obaid-Chinoy to go nearly 8 months without substantial updates on this film, and to then confirm that she is still at least working on it, is a relief. That the project hasn't hit unexpected roadblocks. Star Daisy Ridley, on the other hand, has been a bit more vocal about the upcoming project, even if she has also kept a tight lid on actual plot details. This is what she said. I know the story for one film. That's not to say that that's all it is, but that's what I was told about. And I can imagine that there will be a next film, I think, which is what Daisy Ridley revealed to Collider back in November. I mean, again, I don't know, post-strikes and everything, how quickly everything will start up again. But yes, so far, I know the story of one film, and I think people will be very excited. She added, I'm very excited. The story is really cool. I'm waiting to read the script because obviously I don't have any other updates. It's not what I expected, but it's very exciting. So we talked about these things that my stream shouldn't be blurry. We got excellent connection. Check your end. I think we're pretty good on the connection, right, guys? Pretty clear on my end. What was I saying? Oh yeah, we talked about these when we talked about these quotes when Daisy Ridley said them back a few months ago, and she was teasing that there might be more than one movie. She was saying that like she knows the story of the movie, but she hasn't read the script yet, and she's very excited about it. And it gave us a lot of hope for this Rey movie because she was very excited about it, even though she hadn't read the script yet. She has heard details about what this movie will be about and all that other stuff. So that was really cool. That's what we heard a few months ago. Stay tuned for updates about Charmin Obaid-Chinoy's movie. And are you looking forward to this movie, of course, is the big question. And then that was it. So with what Daisy is saying about how exciting she is for this movie, she's heard the story that's going to be told and all that other stuff. Are you excited for this movie? Are you going to go watch this movie? As of right now, 62% of you guys on that poll say no, you are not going to go see the Rey movie, which is not good when we got a bunch of very hardcore Star Wars fans in the chat here, and 62% of you aren't going to go see it. That's concerning. That should be concerning to Lucasfilm as well. Yeah. I'm going to butcher this badly, but correct me if I'm wrong. Enadasa says, well. Look who has been hiding as a young Jedi. Yuck. Insert laugh here. A Jedi youngling? What are you talking about? I'm confused. I was not hiding. I've never been hiding. Fearless says, oh my god, what if they made the Rey movie into something like the book Bloodline, and Rey has to struggle because people find out that she's actually a Palpatine? That would be pretty cool, because yeah, in Bloodline, that's when the New Republic finds out that Leia is Vader's daughter, and then she gets pretty much taken out of the Senate completely because they don't trust her anymore and all this other stuff. That would be really cool if Rey like builds her new Jedi Order and then they find out that she's a Palpatine and like they turn on her or something. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. Enadasa, I hate when I say people's names wrong, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Says your Wi-Fi is broken and your stream is blurry, and then says no, it was just me. Does anyone on iPhone 3rd generation have a SIM card problem besides me? You have an iPhone SE? What is the iPhone SE? I found you on Ethan Frowen's server, lol. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Shout out to Ethan. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Zap says, if Daisy be fine, I be showing up, Mike. Come on. Oh, I get you. I think a lot is riding on the trailer for this movie, of course. I think at Star Wars Celebration 2025, we'll get a teaser trailer and, of course, announcement of the release date and the name of the movie. I just think a lot is riding on that trailer. A lot is riding on the leaks that come out, who the villain of the movie is. Is Finn going to be involved? Is Kylo going to be involved? Is there going to be a brand new cast of characters? Like, there's so much that we don't know about this movie that is going to lead to how fans react to it. If the villain's good, if the characters are redeemed, to say the least, then a lot of fans will really enjoy the movie. As of right now, with comments that the director is making, with losing Damon Lindelof and having to bring in Stephen Knight last minute, right before Star Wars Celebration, all this stuff does not give me hope for this movie. However, if we get a cool trailer, if Finn is involved, if John Boyega comes back, if Adam Driver comes back, if all Poe Dameron, Oscar Isaac comes back, and if the new cast of characters is really cool, and if, biggest if of all, the villain is cool. If it's Abeloth, sign me up. If it's a new Sith, sign me up. If it's Darth Krayt, like we talked about on last stream, sign me up. There's so many cool possibilities with this movie. It's just how they execute it. That's it. And right now, my hopes are really, really low. But they could get really, really high really, really fast. You got my name right on the third attempt? Okay. Well, I don't remember what my third attempt was, but I will try to remember it for next time. All right. What else we got going on? Any other Star Wars news that you guys want to talk about? Let's see. Star Wars news. Anything else? We talked about the Star Wars Outlaws stuff. We watched the animated thing. We talked about the Charmin stuff. I think that's everything we got to talk about today. I think that's everything. 2024 is going to be a great year for Star Wars. I can feel it. I can really, really feel it. And I just, like with the 4 shows this year, the at least one big video game with Star Wars Outlaws and maybe even more, seeing all these other cool things from behind the scenes this year. We're going to get a lot of leaked stuff when the Rey movie starts filming and all this other stuff. It's going to be a big year for Star Wars. It's going to be a big year for this channel especially, but we're still growing and we're still having fun doing it. It's the best time to be a Star Wars fan, as I always say, is right now. If they do Abeloth, they better not butcher her with terrible VFX. I agree. I think Abeloth is such a cool character, but I think you don't have to show her as the creepy, smiling lady from Legends all the time. I think you can disguise her sort of as other people. You know, I think you can like make her look like Shin, and then every once in a while show like her creepy smile, and then maybe her like, you know, like you can disguise her as other people. Fearless says, I'm currently rewatching Bad Batch Season 2 in preparation for Season 3. I hope Season 3 gets a release date very soon, and we get a trailer very soon, because I think that will probably be the first project to be released this year, is Bad Batch Season 3. I'm sure it probably won't come out till like April, so we might have a few months of nothing from Star Wars for a while, but we'll have a ton of news coming out just based off of release dates and probably trailers for these shows as well as we go further along. Because I was talking with Tony, Star Wars Siths, yesterday in that video. Again, will be posted on Friday, so watch out for that. But we were talking about, he went to Star Wars Celebration last year. And at Star Wars Celebration, the people there got to see a trailer for Skeleton Crew, The Acolyte, Bad Batch Season 3, Tales Season 2, and I think that, and the Ahsoka trailer as well, but the Ahsoka trailer was released publicly. The other ones weren't released publicly. So there was a Acolyte trailer, there was a Skeleton Crew trailer, there was a Bad Batch trailer, and there was a Tales of the Jedi Season 2 trailer that were all ready to go back last April, like 8+ months ago. And we still haven't received those trailers publicly because those shows aren't coming out for a little while. But that means these shows, at least the trailers, are already ready to be released. So at some point, hopefully sometime soon, we will see those trailers and we will see those release dates. Zap says, speculation on the Bad Batch trailer? I hope soon. Or do you mean what it's going to be about? I don't really know. But I do hope that it will be soon. Maybe within the next couple weeks would be nice, but that's just me fanboy dreaming, by the way. By the way, do you do gaming on this channel too? Yes, I do. We played through Jedi Survivor earlier in 2023. We are going to play through Star Wars Outlaws. I am actually debating on whether or not to play through Knights of the Old Republic sometime soon. If we do have a gap in the content, we might do that. We'll see. Yeah, but yes, we definitely do some gaming on here as well. A drop date for Bad Batch Season 3? Again, I would guess April. Anything before then would be a pretty big surprise. Oh, dang, you're right. Oh, dang. You are right. They are just holding these. Yes, they are just holding these for now. Do I play Battlefront? Yeah, I play Battlefront 2 pretty regularly, I would say. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite recently, but I do play Battlefront. But Battlefront's not cross-platform, which sucks, because I got an Xbox, and unless all you guys have Xboxes, then we can't really play together, you know? Yeah, no? If you do KOTOR, make sure you do SOTOR at some point too. Star Wars, The Old Republic. Oh, like there's just the Old Republic game itself? Yeah, I would, of course. I'd play through probably all of them at some point. Ewok Hunt is so much fun. It really is. It's like Infected from like Call of Duty and Halo, but it's way more fun because it's nighttime and you're a stormtrooper and there's Ewoks hunting you down. Yeah. Fearless says, oh, cool. I'll watch your gameplay for Jedi Survivor. It's such a good game. Yeah, there's a playlist on the channel. Let's look it up. Let's look at it. Why not? What the hell? Why not? Why not? Let's go to the channel. So if you go to the channel, right here, and this is our live stream right here. We got 14 people watching. Incredible. And you go to the playlists tab. These what ifs are very old, so don't judge me on those. But this playthrough of Jedi Survivor, it's 7 videos. They're all pretty long, I believe. Oh, pause that. They're all pretty long. Yeah, this is 2 hours. This one's 2 hours. This one's 4.5 hours. This one's almost 3 hours. This one's almost 4 hours. This one's over 3 hours. This one's over 3 hours. Oh wait, I guess they're not in order. But that's okay. You can watch them in order, you know? Oh, there's the times. So the longest one we had was 4.5 hours. That's crazy. And they were all around 3 to 4 hours. Yeah, that was a really fun game to play through, that's for sure. That was a fun game. Yeah. All right. I think we're going to get on out of here. Almost going on an hour and 45 minutes here. That was a crazy stream. We talked about a lot. And this, of course, that incredible animation of the Clone Wars animated of the Revenge of the Sith fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan was really, really cool. If you want to watch the full thing, you can go watch it right now at Hello There Animation. Shout out to him. Very, very cool. Hopefully we get more of that. Let's end this poll, see where you guys are at with whether or not you're going to go see this Rey movie. 66% execute Order 66. The math is not mathing, but that's okay. Are not going to go watch that movie, and that's kind of depressing. Hopefully that changes as we get further on down the line with a trailer and other stuff like that. We'll see. For filler, you could do Uno. I could join you since I am being forced to launch it every month since they delete your Ubisoft account if you're inactive for 60 days. What? That sounds insane, but that sounds fun too. Uno's fun. Uno gets intense, that's for sure. But I'm going to get on out of here. You guys are the absolute best. Jay, you've been in the entire time. You've been awfully quiet. Appreciate you. So yeah, watch out for a possible video tomorrow about this whole Charmino Bedchinoy stuff. And then, of course, that Sith Talks with Tony on Friday. And, of course, a live stream on Thursday and Saturday. And every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for the rest of your lives. Yeah. And may the Force be with you. Always. Oh, wait. Smash a like on this video. Hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. And my pretty face will show up in the recommended feed of yours. Jay, you were putting up Christmas lights right now? And then taking them down? You put things up and take them down? All right. May the Force be with you. Always. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, a great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.